I Can Lick 30 Tigers Today, and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss. For Audrey, I can lick 30 tigers today. Well, maybe 29. You, down there, with the curly hair, will you please step out of the line? I can lick 29 tigers today. Well, that's sort of a mean thing to do. I'll cut down my list. First group is dismissed. I'll be at the next 22. I can lick 22 tigers today. Well, maybe I'll lick 13. You, in the front row. You're excused. You may go. Your fingernails aren't very clean. I can lick 13 tigers today. Well, quite a few of you seem underweight. It's not fair, after all, to lick tigers so small. I think they'll only lick 8. I can lick 8 big tigers today. Well, you look sort of sleepy to me. Some of you chaps should go home and take naps. I only tend to lick 3. I can lick 3 big tigers today. Well, it's frightfully hot in the sun. You two, I'm afraid, should lie down in the shade. You're safe. I shall only lick 1. I can lick 1 mighty tiger today. But, I have sort of a hunch that new time is near. You just wait for me here. I'll beat you up right after lunch. King Looie Katz. Way back in the olden golden days, in the year 139, a fancy cat named Louie was the king of Katzenstein. King Louie was a proud cat, mighty proud of his royal tail. He had it washed every morning in a 10-gallon golden pail. "My tail's such a lovely tail," King Louie used to brag. "My tail must never touch the earth. My tail must never drag." So King Looie Katz made Phooey cats follow him around, and Phooey kept the kingly thing from dragging on the ground. Well, all was fine in Katzenstein. The king's tail wasn't dragging, but one day Phooey looked around and saw that his was sagging. "My lovely tail," he sighed with pride. "Oh, this will never do. If Louie has his tail held up, I'm going to have mine too." So Phooey Cats made Cooey Cats follow him around, and Cooey Cats kept Phooey's tail from dragging on the ground. Now all was fine in Katzenstein, till Cooey's pride was hurt when he discovered his fine tail was dragging in the dirt. So Cooey made a cat named Chewy follow him around, and Chewy Cats kept Cooey's tail from dragging on the ground. And so it went in Katzenstein. Next, Chewy Cats got Hooey, and Hooey Cats got Bluey Cats, and Bluey Cats got Prooey, till all the cats in Katzenstein were hiking round and round, all keeping one another's tails from dragging on the ground, all proud, except for one small cat, the last cat in the line, the last cat of all the cats that lived in Katzenstein, a most unhappy little cat named Zooey Katzenbein. His tail would never be held up, and poor old Zooey knew it, because holding up a cat's tail takes another cat to do it. Oh, poor Zooey got so awfully mad, so mad he could spit. But he did a far, far braver thing. He simply yelled, I quit! I cannot, shall not, will not lug this stupid thing around! He slammed the tail of Looie Katz. He slammed it on the ground. Then Looie Katz slammed Louie's tail, and Looie Katz slammed Huey's, and Looie Katz slammed Chewy's tail, and Chewy Katz slammed Cooey's. All cats in Katzenstein were slammed, including proud King Louie's. And since that day in Katzenstein, all cats have been more grown up. They're all democratic because each cat holds his own up. The Glunk That Got Thunk. A thing my sister likes to do some evenings after supper is sit upstairs in her small room and use her finger upper. She turns her finger upper on. She lets it softly purr. It thinks up friendly little things with smiles and fuzzy fur. She sometimes does this by the hour. Then, when she's tired of play, she turns on her unthinker and unthinks the things away. Well, one evening she was thinking up some fuzzy little stuff, and Sister sighed, "This stuff's all right, but it's not fun enough. I've got to think up bigger things. I bet I can, you know. I'll speed my finger upper up as fast as it'll go." Think, she cried. Her finger upper gave a snorty snore. It started thunk, thunk, thunking as it never had before. With all her might, her eyes shut tight, she cried, "Thunk, thunk some more." Then, blunk! The finger upper thunked a double clunker clunk. My sister's eyes flew open, and she thunked a glunk. He was greenish, not too cleanish. He sort of had bad breath. "Good gracious," gasped my sister, "I've thunked up quite a mess." She turned on her unthinker, tried to think the glunk away, but she found that her unthinker didn't seem to work that day. The glunk just smiled and said, "Dear child, you can't unthunk a glunk. Ask anyone. They'll tell you that a glunk can't be unthunk. I'm here to stay forever in your lovely, lovely home. Now, with your permission, dear, I'll use your telephone. I call my mother every night. It gives her such great joy. She lives 9,000 miles away, and I'm her only boy." "Long distance is expensive," Sister cried. "Get off that line." But the glunk dialed Texacata Cut 123409. "Hello, dear mother," gabbed the glunk. "I hope you're feeling fine. Don't worry about the phone bill. It's all paid by a friend of mine. I just called you up to tell you how I love you. Oh, I do. And today I did some cooking, and I cooked some glunker stew. Let me tell you how I made it. You want to make some too. You take a cup of applesauce, you add a pinch of straw, and you drop in 14 oysters, 7 cooked and 7 raw. Then you beat it to a frazzle with a special frazzle spade. Then you pour it in a rubber boot half filled with lemonade. Then you toss it in the mixer where you sputter it and spin it." "Stop!" my sister yelled. "This costs $10 every minute." "Money? Pooh!" The glunk just laughed. "Don't think of things like that." Then he said, "Now, darling mother, let me see, where was I at? Oh, you take it off the mixer when the stew is nicely pink. Then you add a hunk of something. Hunk of chocolate, I think. Then you chunk hunks of chocolates. Then you plunk in 7 cherries. And then you plunk in, mother dear, 3 dozen kinds of berries. Now, mother mine, please do this right. Those berries that you're plunking, unless they plunk with great care, will keep the stew from clunking." "Stop! Stop!" my little sister screamed. "It's not a funny joke. My father can't afford this call. My father will go broke." "Now you keep still," the glunk snapped back. He kicked her in the shin. "Don't you interrupt my mother when she's plunking berries in. Now, mother, plunk 1 berry blue. Now, plunk 1 berry raz." "What's that?" You have no raspberries? Oh, everybody has. But if you don't have berries, Raz, a schnozberry will do. You have a schnozz, I know you have. Now plunk it in the stew. And he went on talking berries with his dear old darling mother. He jabbered and he blabbered 1 whole hour, and then another. He talked $300 worth. My sister shook with fright. This clunk might cost us millions. He might jabber on all night. My father will be ruined, will be penniless. We're sunk unless I can unthunk him. Oh, I must unthunk this clunk. And that is how I found them. She was standing there, unthunking. The glunk still talking glunkers still. That glunk was not unglunking. Could she unthunk the glunk alone? It's very doubtful whether, so I turned on my unthinker. We unthunk the glunk together. Then I gave her quite a talking to about her finger-upper. Now, she only thinks up fuzzy things in the evening after supper. The end. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments below.